Hi, Sunshine Moore here, creator of FitTech. We are the hub for virtual fitness instructors to learn technology and equipment solutions, plus sales and marketing strategies to successfully launch your online businesses. From our mini courses to our signature course, we bring education to you around the world. And when we do that, you go out and serve the world. And that is a mission that we can get behind. We'll meet you where you are ready. Maybe it's a mini course, confidence on camera. Maybe it's a 7-day challenge, how to set up your virtual studio. Or maybe you're ready for the signature course, how to successfully launch your online business, which includes not only all of the tech aspects, but sales and marketing strategies. We aim to build our know, like, and trust factor with you with this podcast. And also in each podcast, there are resources in the notes and ways to connect with us further. Please check the notes, reach out. We are here for you, FitPro. Hey, FitPro. Today we're going to talk about Tyler Valencia. He is the CEO and creator of two businesses called Time to Train, which is his virtual fitness studio, as well as Kips Online. He teaches technology specifically for virtual fitness. Maybe you just thought, hey, he is doing exactly what you're doing, Sunshine, and why would you want to interview him? Isn't he a competitor? And I would say, hey, I am Sunshine Moore, and that's exactly why I wanted to interview him, because he has been in this industry longer than I have, knows more than I do, and can offer us so much value. And he really embodies collaboration, sharing information with each other instead of trying to keep everything private into ourselves. The truth is, what I teach, for the most part, what Tyler teaches, for the most part, is available for free online. But what he and I both create is the opportunity to learn it faster and more succinctly, having it all housed in one area. For me, for FitTech, which is the hub for virtual fitness instructors, I teach educational courses, or I do one-on-one sessions. You can't get that by watching a YouTube video, right? So with my interview with Tyler, he was so generous in sharing how he moved from having a number one boot camp to being in the corporate world very high up to then breaking back out into his own business out of a need during COVID when people started reaching out to him for tech advice. It's very similar to my own story in that I did own a brick and mortar studio after I was in corporate. And before that, I was my own business as well, a similar story to Tyler. And then again, out of a need during the pandemic, I have a lot of technical knowledge. And so I pivoted my entire business, closed my brick and mortar studio. We did have virtual fitness at the time. And now I have pivoted to be the hub for virtual fitness instructors to learn what they need to know about having their virtual fitness business. Now, the difference between me and other people you're going to see online, not only will I be very upfront with you about what you need and what you need to grow, but I also have systems that I built a lot before and after having my MBA, and that I have built through the years of being an entrepreneur. My tennis company didn't get the sponsorship from the Detroit Pistons until after year 11. It took me 11 years, but I did it, and I did it with a team. So what I'm sharing with you is your success is not going to happen tomorrow. It is not probably even going to happen in a year. But what is going to happen is you building the building blocks of your business. And if you are the type of person that can stick with it and be consistent, which we talk about in this podcast, you can absolutely be successful in this industry. But something that Tyler and I both highlighted at different parts in the episode, mainly at the end, actually, I'll say, and that I have referenced in other episodes, is that our industry is flooded. there is a lot of competition. So it's very critical that not only you show up consistently, but that you have a target market that you are trying to deliver this message and this offering to. Because when we try to serve all people, we serve nobody, right? You cannot be a beach body where you are all things to all people, nor should you try. You're a solopreneur. Now, something that I see as part of the future and that I am working on building is our fitness lab as part of FitTech, where it is a pop sugar fitness model. We have different instructors coming in offering their workouts, and so we are able to offer different modalities, different instructors, different levels of personalized support. And in that way, it's speaking to the collaboration effort again. That is a huge way we will compete with the beach bodies and the Pelotons, because we can be real people serving real people. We can give them connections and relationships that they can't get anywhere else. But can you be all things to all people or even to your client? No. If you are a bar instructor, you're likely not a strength instructor at the same level. Maybe that made you a little butthurt. Sorry, but it's true. They're different modalities, right? Lifting 3-pound weights is different than lifting 2-pound weights. And I'm not saying you can't be skilled in both, but I would bet you a lot of money that you're more skilled at one of them than the other. And maybe it's something even broader than what I listed, strength and bar, right? You can say bar is strength, but really I'm just trying to make the point that if we have a hybrid studio, not hybrid, a virtual studio, if we have a virtual studio that has multiple instructors that are teaching their discipline that they are strongest in, we can serve our client the best, right? I teach athletes. So if the client is an athlete, I want them to come to me for their strength and their agility training, but I want them to go to Jamie for bar and Pilates. Can I teach those? Yes. Is she better? Yes. And that's okay. In this upcoming episode, you can take what works for you now. And I'll tell you, even from the time of recording this episode, Tyler, I've listened to it several times now, and I take something each time we listen to it. So, what can you do today? You can check the show notes for the resources. We offer a free resource download in each of the show notes, right? That's something that will help you grow in your business, whether it's Zoom settings, video or PDF, or whether it's confidence on camera tips. It's going to be something very pivotal to your business. So please go do that. And then reach out on FitTech University on Instagram. Truly, I would love to connect. Let me know how I can help you. Maybe it's with a microphone. Maybe it's convincing you need a mixer. No matter what you tell me, you need a mixer if you are streaming live on Zoom and have people in front of you. Thank you so much for listening. Truly, you could spend your time in so many ways. I'm so honored that you chose the FitTech podcast because this is the hub for virtual fitness instructors. Enjoy my episode with Tyler Valencia. Hey Fit Bro, I interrupt this podcast for one brief moment to remind you that we have a signature course with FitTech, and it is step-by-step on how to successfully launch your virtual studio. From what cords you need to plug in, other equipment needs, plus we teach a marketing strategy. Again, step-by-step, I'll walk you through it. Check the show notes to get access to our digital courses. Of course, you can find them on our website under digital courses. The website is sunshinekellymoore.com. Just go to the show notes to check that. But again, the course takes you step by step to launch from what platform and pricing and equipment you need to a marketing strategy and how to target the right people and how to communicate with them in a way that will resonate with them so they want to purchase your services. So check that out in the show notes or go to the website sunshinekellymoore.com.
That will probably play a role a little later is at the same time I started up my own outdoor boot camp. So I was working with Nesta and I started up my outdoor boot camp, which was called Time to Train Fitness. And so that'll come back later on in the story. But that was like my first entrepreneurial venture into live in person boot camps, running a business, learning how to do a website, doing marketing, all that kind of stuff, doing as much in terms of learning about SEO, all kinds of the pieces of a business that you struggle through for those first years. Getting all that out and trying to grow a business, that was a great opportunity at that time. I think I was around 23, 24. And with that boot camp, when we were running it strong, I mean, we won best boot camp in Long Beach 3 years in a row, best personal trainer 3 years in a row. So we had some good steam that was going. And so that was on top of working with Nesta, where I was doing things like accreditation, continuing education, helping develop programs. And the thing that really helped set me up for my career was that I learned how to do content creation from scratch. So we were editing, we were filming, editing, creating the content that was going into it, all that stuff that goes into a course, which you don't really think about, the whole manual creation. We did all those things. So after about 4 years of doing that and wanting to progress in terms of moving up the ladder, I got an opportunity to become the vice president at NCCPT. So that was huge. I was 27 at the time. So I went over there, had to move about an hour north, and it was a great opportunity. I didn't stay there for long, but I got an opportunity to really make connections with the industry. That's how I feel like I really got my feet wet in terms of getting to meet other heads in the industry, the gym's heads, like the directors of education, the owners, all things like that that really helped me later on. So I got that experience, the more managerial experience, and after half a year of being there, so I'm looking at my age, I'm looking at my experience, my skill set, all these things, and I'm like, okay, it's time that I take a shot. I like being an entrepreneur. I like owning my own business. I got to take my shot. So I spoke with my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time, and I said, hey, I'm not overly thrilled at this position. I loved it. It was a great opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying that I'm not fully in terms of like my skill set. I'm not using all those. What do you think? She's like, we don't have any kids yet. You're young. Give it a shot. See what you can do. And so I took that opportunity to leave that great paying position, because you can manage being 27, being a vice president at one of the top 10 education companies. It paid pretty well for my age, and I left. I left, put it all on the table, and that's when I started my company, Kips, which we do online education. We do live sometimes, but we mostly do online education, and took those skill sets of creating content from scratch, filming, editing, all that kind of stuff, and made our own brand for it. So that's kipsonline.org if you want to go check us out over there. And over the last year, that was when the whole Time to Train Fitness came back into circulation. It was maybe early 2020. I started getting all these emails, calls, texts from other friends in the industry. Hey, I'm really having a hard time with like microphones. Do you have any ideas? How do you connect these? Like, what about cameras? Do you have any recommendations? And I mean, these are people that won idea personal trainer of the year, have had high positions in the industry, own their own education company, and they're asking me these questions about streaming. I'm like, let me look into it, find a solution, send it over to them. And we were making our own tutorials at the time at Kips about streaming and whatnot. And after a while, I was like, you know what? How about we give it a shot? And that's when the restart of Time to Train Fitness came back, and we started the whole online platform, which I created, that has a membership. We have, I call it 6 different formats, but we have a lot more in there. We have right at the moment 450 online workouts. We have our YouTube channel, which is getting very, very close to being monetized. And we're very fortunate that we also create content for other companies, and we do a lot of great stuff in the virtual training realm. And I'd say that Kips and Time to Train Fitness, those are the two that I didn't imagine that when you go off and you create your own businesses that you're gonna have two that you really thoroughly enjoy. But right now, those are my what I do, and keeps me going every single day.
MailChimp, whatever. You need an email list. They have no idea even how to build a list, much less create a list. Literally, the how do you create a list in ActiveCampaign? So you have build an email list, or you need to be on YouTube because it's a how-to site, and the YouTube will drive your traffic to Instagram. Your Instagram will drive your traffic to your website. I've seen people create this, right? Email, YouTube, Instagram, website. What is your advice, if you will, on where would they start?
I don't know if there's a right answer for where to start. I think that it's all the pieces that you eventually have to get down. And the example that I'm going to share, just because it was from the last week, something on Twitter came up about, and it's not related to the fitness industry, but it's pretty applicable right now, is with my movie podcast that off the Twitter feed, somebody was asking me, oh, do you need to have a thumbnail or do you have to have a better intro song? And can it be both? Can it be all the pieces? So I think the same thing applies with this question. Can it be all of them? That you have to get all those down eventually because they all help each other. So going back to what I said about protocol, your systems, all these in place on a weekly basis, I do all those. And I know that all of them drive to each other because I've installed my Google Analytics. I know where traffic comes from. And so you know how important that just one of these pieces is, your YouTube channel or your Instagram or your Facebook. And you know that these are your major traffic getters. Of course, you want organic traffic, but that's part of your systems. What are you doing to your website to make sure that it loads quick, your images are compressed, that you have consistent quality content going into it. So you're building your blog, you're building your YouTube channel, and something that I've talked about at so far 2 conferences, and it's something called YouTube Centered Digital Marketing. And I am applying for different conferences to speak on it, but it's a system, it's a protocol, and I feel like bad when I say that, oh, I invented it, but it's just something that I utilize. And I was like, oh, that's a clever name, and I'm going to make a presentation on it. But it's something that I do, and I've tried to implement it with different companies too, is that you create content specifically for YouTube. So, of course, you need to know your YouTube guidelines, and you need to know how long a video should be. You should know how to make your thumbnails in terms of your descriptions, and is the content quality. So starting there, getting all those things down. But the reason why I call it YouTube centered digital marketing is that now that video that you made for YouTube, now you can embed that in your blog, which you can now email out, part of your newsletter. But now you can take that same video and now you can splice it up and you can put it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever social media channel that you want to put it on. And so instead of thinking, okay, I need to create something for Instagram and for Facebook, oh man, there's so many different channels, which one I do? Focus on one that can trickle down into all of them. And that's part of being efficient. It's part of being a content creator. And I know that people listening still don't utilize YouTube as much as they should. And I've been preaching about it for a while, and I always feel like I'm a conspiracy theorist in the fitness industry when I say this kind of stuff, but it's such a powerful tool. It's the second largest search engine in the world, And so utilizing it to your advantage, and people will, of course, first think, well, it's so hard to get monetized. Well, don't think about getting it monetized right off the bat. So those are hard things to do. Think about how it can help your business. Don't look at the views. Don't look at your subscribers. Just think about your content, because you got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere with your content creation. You can't just think right off the bat that I'm going to start making content for YouTube and, oh man, that one was so bad. I was fumbling all over the place. Well, you can't expect to be perfect right off the bat. I go back and look at my YouTube videos, and I'm at that stage right now, because that's one of those things with YouTube that it's a strategy, is that you remake some content because it can hopefully get just as many views. But the example that I'm going to give right now with Time to Train is that our highest views video, it's around 30,000 views, is one that I did on installing SPD clips and clipping in. But I go back and look and I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't color correct it. My audio, I didn't edit it as I should have. And the angle on it, oh my, like why did I do that? But it has 30,000 views, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to remake it, make it better. But that's part of the process. I had put something out there, but I grew from it. And looking back on it, I know where I can make those improvements. So just starting that process is really going to make an impact in the future. And I think that's, as going into the new year, as we're recording this on December 8th, 2021, that's something for the new year. Think about it. Just get going, get that process going, make your outline, get that ball rolling so that you can stream it into all of those pieces that you mentioned, your newsletter, your social media, your website, all the pieces that are important. And be someone just like me, because I value somebody that can do multiple things in a company. I know I remember going through the industry and oftentimes coming across people, oh, well, you're good at other things, but not good at one thing, and you need to master one thing. I'm not one of those believers. I believe that if you have multiple skill sets, you bring all those to the table, that you don't just do one thing. And that's part of being a small business is if you're the owner, or even if you are part of a small business, you don't do one thing. I've never been a company that you just do one thing. You have to help out in other areas. You have to adapt. You have to grow in those areas because you don't have that type of money. You don't have that type of funds to just do that. So in my opinion, and anybody can do however they want to, I would much rather have somebody that can edit, can film, can do a lot of the things that I do, because they just bring more value. It's not a threat to me. It's more of I have two people that can do something that another company, they have teams to do. And so far it's been working pretty well. How to edit, how to make manuals, how to make a website, all self-taught. But I think it's really an attitude towards it, because they are very hard things. Sometimes it's another language. But to answer your question more quickly, yes, I am self-taught.
And I appreciate your vulnerability with that, because I hope listeners take that as encouragement that they can learn these things too. They can go to YouTube and find you and find your how-to videos, and it's one thing at a time, right?
Oh yeah, one thing at a time.
They think they're going to put all these things together at once. They're not. They do need them all, right? But let's learn how to create that list. Okay, if that's where you want to start, fine. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to start with your YouTube. Maybe that's where you feel most comfortable.
Oh yeah.
That they're going to need all pieces. So pick one and go learn it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've said this in different podcasts before, that all of my business, how I run it, how we make stuff, it's all out there. You can literally copy my business if you wanted to. It's out there, but you got to do it, and you have to take that step if you wanted to. You can make audio sound like mine does. I've never made a video about editing, but you'd have to edit it. But how the setup goes, how the website stuff, how I create blogs, all that stuff's out there. It's just I know that people often will not take those steps to do it, and that's part of why we make some of that content, is that it's very useful, but doing it consistently, it's very hard.
Coming back to your key take home, to be consistent, right?
Yes, I like it.
Yes. Shalene Johnson said something recently that said consistency doesn't mean every day per se. It means maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday you show up, but you consistently show up at the times you say you're going to show up.
I dig that. I can say that as I'm looking at my weekly schedule. It's off to the side here. A lot of those things are the same things. Or they are. I can't say a lot of them. They are the same things that I wrote last week, the week before that, and the week before that. But the week before that is that on certain days, I have certain things that I do. That's part of I think it's called block management in terms of your time. You have certain days, certain times that have a purpose. And so that's helped me be more effective in how I accomplish things. And if people that have worked with me, they know that they tend to know that on Mondays I don't either respond to many emails, I won't set up any meetings because I have certain things that I have to do on that day to help set up the rest of the week. So I won't take any meetings, or I won't take a call just because it's that important. So consistency, we'll wrap that back into that.
Yes. Is that a paper schedule that you're pointing to? I have mine here. My, I swear I had mine. Oh, yes, it's over here. Mine's paper as well. Is yours?
It is paper. My wife laughs at me. I'm pretty old school with like, and I just like print out papers, but that's like one of my three schedules that I have. Of course, my iCal is important to my week,
Yes.
where I have those things in there. But on the weekly, it's just lists and lists and lists and appointments, and then I get my reminders from my iCal of when I do have meetings and stuff like that. But just writing them out, making goals, all that kind of stuff.
Do you have a designated time that you sit down and write out your schedule?
Sundays, so every Sunday.
Me too.
It's when I first started Kips, there was a process that I told myself that until the company was up and running, I need to work on the weekend. And that shifted a little bit. It used to be Saturdays. I would put in a handful of hours. But now for my schedule, and I think just learning more about, since this is fitness related, I'll say in terms of mental health and wellness, I try to, even though it's not true, I can't say that I don't work on Saturday. I'd be lying if I said that, but I try to dedicate Saturdays to unplug as much as I can and go do the things that I like to do, whether it's stuff around the house, watching movies, just sitting down. But my wife would say that I don't really sit for too long. That's why I start and stop a lot of movies, is that I'll watch one for 45 minutes and then I just can't sit there anymore. I need to go do something. So I'll get up and then I'll go do something else. But dedicating that time to unplug from work, from like my computer, because you got to build that motivation back up. You want, I think, you can look at it in terms of like athletes too. You want that time away because it gets you hungry to go back and attack your stuff, your schedule, your work. And that time does help me unplug, and then I want to get back to editing, filming, making outlines, making courses, whatever that might be.
Quiet time.
I guess kind of quiet.
Well, for the mind, right?
Yes.
It's not being bombarded with stimulation, with notifications, if you will. Two more questions.
Yes.
Would you be willing to come have a future conversation with me about courses?
Yeah, of course.
What are the top 3 things you look for in the instructors that you hire on your team?
With instructors, when I generally speak with them, it's a process that it's always just an initial conversation first, that we just talk and we see what they currently do, what their setup is. Also, I'm trying to get out of them if their willingness to learn. I think that's an important piece.
Growth, maturity, willingness to learn.
Yes.
Where do you see our industry in 5 years?
I think I have to start. I know you want fast fire, but I have to make my joke about me being a conspiracy theorist inside the fitness industry. I really do see a resurgence, and it's not necessary. It doesn't bother me, just because my business doesn't fully revolve around one specific thing. But gyms are applying for more funding. The bigger companies in the online realm will get even bigger. So both of those will continue to grow, in my opinion. I hope that independent instructors do take more time to invest in their services, their product, their stream, their online workouts, online platforms, finding those things to make those better. I think that will help them in the future. But I think it'll be pretty similar to what it is, but just bigger things. Bigger companies will be just bigger. They'll buy each other out even more as it's happening now, and they'll just continue to grow.
Where do you see Time to Train in 5 years?
I get excited when I think about it, but well, by then we'll have one monetized channel for sure. I can't say at the moment. The other thing that we're working on, it's actually being announced next week to the rest of our instructors, but we have our second thing in the works that will just continue to build us in a certain area. But we'll just keep doing what we're doing in terms of how we focus on our own content, our own business, and we'll continue to be building in that realm of online workouts, tutorials, and being that type of company.
I can't wait to hear the announcement. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check the notes for a resource, a free resource guide to something that you need for your business. The links to connect with us, whether it's Instagram or our website, are there. And then lastly, remember that we teach courses to help you get your business going. Right now, we're pushing the course Confidence on Camera, because before you can even start your business, you need to be able to push play. So check out that course and all of our other courses, like how to successfully launch your studio, in the show notes. Please connect. We'll see you soon.